Well, one of South Africa's best-known political figures. She pulls no punches, and I think she's taken a few verbal ones of her own over the past couple of years. Once an ambassador, now retired, I understand, and I assume consulting at huge fees. Evita Bezuidenhout, a very warm welcome to you.
Oh, dankie.
Are you fond of Peter Dirk Uys? Describe the relationship.
Is Jacob Zuma fond of Julius Malema? Jacob Zuma created Julius Malema and vice versa, so I don't know if I've created Peter Dirk Uys. Ach, my liewe aarde, Jeremy, you know, it's a democracy. People are allowed freedom of speech. And when he started impersonating me in the old days, you know, I was too busy. I couldn't be bothered with nonsense. But it seems he's become part of the so-called heritage of South Africa. And ach, liewe aarde.
Give him some space.
Yeah, give him some space. He's got nothing more to talk about. That's why he does me all the time. He's so scared to criticize those in power because he's scared of being called names. And, you know, do we have to worry about him? I'm sure he's fine. You know, he seems to be doing what he's doing. I believe he still does me.
Not your problem.
No, it's not. I'm his problem.
Do you remember how you got into politics, and were you born into it?
No, my goodness. I was born in Bethlehem in the Orange Free State.
Cold.
Cold, but we were born in a house because the stables were for blacks only. And of course, I grew up there and I had no idea of politics. We had a picture of Paul Kruger on the wall, we had a picture of Voortrekker Monument, and a picture, of course, of Dr. D. of Milan. Ne? I didn't think there was any other alternative. I know the neighbors had a picture of Adolf Hitler. I thought he was a friend of the families. I didn't know anything about politics. Then I went to Johannesburg and eventually I made films at the Killarney Films, 3 films. Went to Lagerfontein, became a librarian, and I met my husband. That's where politics touched me briefly, because he was the member of parliament for Lagerfontein. He was an
MP, wasn't he? Of course.
MP for the National Party, and he loved me, and he married me, and I walked into the lion's den of politics because it was a political family, the Bezuidenhouts. Always 3 steps behind my husband, because that is the way things were. Went down to parliament every year. In the new car, every year a new car, Buick or sometimes an Oldsmobile, paid for by the taxpayer. And then, of course, I realized
this is where you learnt your inherent style of dress, style.
I don't know where that came from. You know, I used to go to the films, but I don't know what I really noticed in I just realized that, first of all, boere tannies were very fashionable in those 50s and 60s, and I dreaded the idea of becoming a boere tannie. And as I've grown older, and of course now I'm in 2015, I realized that I don't have to look like a cartoon. I don't have to look like a preconceived idea of what an Afrikaans woman looks like. I'm proud to be an Afrikaner who happens to be fashionable and a South African who isn't black.
Did you do well financially out of apartheid?
Oh, that's a cold shiver comes down my spine. Of course I have to say yes. I never saw the money, but I knew that I had to sign documents which I wasn't allowed to look at. Like Owen Horwood signed everything. He was closed his eyes and they said, sign there, sign there. Jeremy, I did well because we all did well. You know, and when people come to me and they say to me, oh, the corruption in the ANC, corruption, 246 million for Nkandla. I said to them, Scotty, we spent that in a week. But of course nobody knew because we controlled everything. Because we wouldn't have allowed you on television like this. Or me for that matter. And so, yes, of course, we were very, very well off. And I think that's the simplicity of the democracy. We realized we weren't making money. And so we handed over the corrupt country, the bankrupt country, to the African National Congress and said, now it's your turn. And I think they're doing very well, considering.
Tell me, have you visited Nkandla?
Of course I have. Look, I'm a member of the ANC, and I've been told you don't have any opinions on television. You're a member of the party. You must say nothing. So I'm saying nothing. But I did go quite a few times to Nkandla. I was confused by all this talk of the wealth. It looked like, first of all, 6 rondavels in a retirement village in Hermanus. I had curtains made for Makumala's tuck shop because the sun melts her chocolates. So the fire pool, well, I didn't look at it because I don't like those things anyway. Yeah, so but I am not stupid, you know, when it comes to politics. I understand the seduction of politics, of power. It's all about power.
Answer this question then. Are you still playing an active role in politics in South Africa? Is your advice sought and given?
I would like to have said, Jeremy, no, I'm retired. Ek is a go-go. I've got 3 little grandchildren, 3 little black grandchildren. Well, they're not black, they're not white, they're Barack Obama beige. Do you know, they said to me, Gogo, what are you going to do to protect democracy so that one day when we need it to vote freely and fairly, democracy will be there in full working condition? Obviously, I had to go back into politics, into real politics, into dangerous politics, which is the politics of power, no longer in Parliament. Parliament is a DA parking garage or a playpen for the Teletubbies of the EFF. I'm in Luthuli House, which is the only power station in South Africa really working. And I cook for reconciliation, and I've put the ANC on a diet.
You have not been seduced by the EFF.
Oh, that word
the
seduced.
vigour, the enthusiasm they're bringing to politics. Have overtures been made, surely?
You make it sound like the old book word. No, I'm a grandmother and their children. I must say, I do think very highly of Julius Malema. I listen to what he says. Nobody bothers to listen. They all think, oh, he's just attracting attention. Everything he says, we should have listened to 5 years ago. And you know, my grandchildren said to me, Google Weimar Republic and Google Adolf Hitler 1929 and see what can happen to a politician that you laugh at until he suddenly gets the support of all the voters and then he becomes the leader of the country. So daar is ons.
Evita Bezuidenhout, you are an astute political observer. You have been a political player yourself. Are we going to be all right?
Jeremy, we are going to be fine. We are in the 21st year of a democracy. We have got freedom of speech and expression and newspapers and cartoons and you and all these satirists, even the ones who wear the dresses that I used to wear. You know, we're not Libya yet. We're not Syria. We're not Zimbabwe. We were Zimbabwe before 1994. I'm very optimistic. And I look at my grandchildren. And I just said to all my friends who say, oh, can we go to Canada? Can we go to Australia? I said, well, you have to push all the Syrians out of the way before you get into Europe. We are okay. Let's make it better. The people must lead, and then the government will follow.
80 years old. Doesn't look like it.
80 is the new 65, I'm told. Helen Zillett's used up all the Botox, so there's no Botox for me.
Anything planned?
You know, there's always a lot of planning. Every time I wake up in the morning, I try and plan. I just have decided that my year is no longer 365 days. My year is now today and tomorrow. So today is all important, and what I do well today will make tomorrow better, and what I don't do well today will make tomorrow more complicated.
Evita Bezuidenhout, thank you.
Thank you.
An audience with Peter Dirk Eish is on at Peter Terrine's Monte Casino Theatre through until the 4th of October. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.